People perish for lack of knowledge, but they also die for lack of vision. Therefore, they're walking blind.
I think men should become indifferent when it comes to that. Be safe until you meet a woman that's thorough enough, because it only affects men when you care about the woman. It only affects men when you care about the woman. A man who's used to getting women and who's used to being with different girls, doesn't matter to them. You should become indifferent because every woman's not worth your time emotionally. So I think you should become very indifferent when it comes to that until you meet a woman that's thorough enough to be worth your time and energy. Sex is sex to most men.
Can
So
I ask you? Do you think a man moving in his full masculinity can make any woman a wife?
no.
Can he make most women?
Um, it depends. Honestly, I think there are a lot of women that want to be wives. I think there are a lot of women that don't want to be wives. It just depends on that woman. Um, just because a woman will sleep with you and want to be with you, that doesn't mean she's good wife material. I think a
Agreed.
lot of people get that confused. Just because a woman will sleep with you or do things for you, that doesn't mean she's good for her to have her around in the long term. You have to
Mm.
be a better chooser of people as well. Now, if she's just somebody you want to smash off for a night, then fine. But when you trying to pick somebody based on this is who I want to rock with forever, then you got to be more thorough, because I don't care how masculine you are. There's always somebody that's more masculine, that has more money, that looks better than you. So, I mean, that's kind of, I think that's silly to say that, oh, an alpha or masculine is full masculine can make any woman a wife. That's stupid. If that's the case, it wouldn't be no YouTube channels and everything like that out here.
Because here's the thing: because Crimson was saying the man would have to train the woman to be a wife, right?
Mhm.
Meaning that any woman could be trained to be a wife. No? Okay. Where am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't
She
think that's
didn't
the
say
same.
any woman. What she said was a woman has to be ready and willing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once she's ready and willing, then you can teach her. But if she's not either of those, then there's nothing you can do.
And you're teaching her how to be your wife, not just a wife in general, if
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Your wife. Correct. If you're constantly running around, you don't think you're going to run into far more women that want to be?
That want to be your wife?
That want to be wives. Yeah, that would want to be your wife. If you're moving with intention in your life, if you're going out, you're grinding, you're making money, you're moving the right way, you don't think most women are going to want to try to settle down with you?
Sure. That don't mean they're wife potential though. They can want to settle down all day, but you can settle down with a horrible person. That doesn't mean that they're good wife or good LTR material. I mean, just because you're gonna attract women regardless. If you move in a certain way, if you a guy that's working hard on his grind, you're gonna attract all kinds of women. You're probably gonna attract murderers, serial killers, just all kind of people. That's, it doesn't matter, but it's just you still have to choose wisely. You know what I'm saying? You don't just want to pick anybody that you see. It's still all about choosing wisely. And then if you're not in that space, if you ain't looking for a wife, or you look, LTR means long term relationship. If you ain't looking for
Someone asked that?
yeah, if you ain't looking for a wife or you're not looking for that at the moment, then you should make that known. Like, listen, baby, I ain't about that. I'm just trying to smash for the night, keep it moving, and do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't looking for no wife. I'm looking for a night. You dig? So yeah.
The man always dropping bars. Dropping gold.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
I think it's I don't know. I don't think that's a necessarily a good narrative for men to try to go behind. Me personally,
That's fine.
I think that if anything, men need to move with intention in their life. I think that not a lot of men are doing that nowadays. I mean, I could attest for myself. Prior to understanding how I should be moving or deciding how I want to where my future should be, I really didn't have any kind of intention. So when I moved with a girl, there was never any intention behind being with that girl. You know what I'm saying?
Well, at that point you were just leading her astray then.
Correct.
If my intention is that I don't want a wife at this point in my life because I'm grinding, and I'm letting that be known to whomever I'm dealing with, that's one thing. But if I'm selling this girl roses, it's a totally different story. My intention is not to get a wife at the moment. I'm moving with intention. It's just not to be with you.
Okay.
You know, it's focusing on that bag. That's my intention. That's the most important thing in my life right now. That's how I'm moving. But if I'm not moving that way and I am looking for a wife, then I am going to be more intentional in how I move.
Young men out here, would you say they are?
I don't know, bro. I can't call it right now because, like I said, man, we live in a generation now where men think it's cool to be house husbands, and I ain't about that life. So what I think is different and what other people may think is good, I ain't really, you know, I'm a little different. I'm not a part of this new millennial liberal. I don't believe in house husbands. I think that's whack, especially if there's nothing wrong with him and he's able-bodied. I think that's trash. But, you know, it worked for some people, so I ain't here to judge, but that's totally whack to me. So I don't know if young men moving like that because it's a lot of bussified young men out here. You dig? So, you know.
Okay. I'm going to drop the next question. Can you become complacent with someone you love?
No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, is becoming complacent, is that a recipe for a failure in that relationship?
It can.
100%.
You get too much room.
100%. A lot of dudes stop working on their purpose. They get fat, out of shape, stop grinding,
start cheating.
Right, doing all the things that what you did to attain a woman, you stop doing it. So you become complacent because you got her. And
because that complacency can oh, excuse me, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that complacency, it can transform into a sense of taking someone for granted. You know what I'm saying? It's a thin line between the two. It's like, yeah, you laying back, but that's the act in and of itself. But then the idea here is now you taking me for granted. So now you're not on your game no more. You're not even on your grind. It's not about us anymore. You doing your own thing. And because you love that person and she might not have the voice or the presence to remind you that it is about us, you know, without being the angry black woman, then yeah, if you can't handle that, it can end bad for you. And I don't mean physically fights. I'm just saying that relationship, that love slip away. And then like I was in a relationship, I was in love and I messed that up. And then, you know, we was trying to be friends, which we was after that. But then she tried to upgrade me to be her first cousin, still come around and hang out with the family. I wasn't doing that, man. It was done. I screwed it up. No, because that's what happens a lot of times in these relationships where you're in love with somebody and then at the end, they want you to be like their family member or their second cousin or something, and because you cool with the family, right? But I don't do it, man. I just messed it up. So yeah, I can attest to that, man. You got to be very mindful. And that's why when I see the sister, you know, and anybody of faith, it's just that hers is obvious and she speaks on it, right? I don't know other people's faith. I know that she's walking on a constitution, a foundation. She's is rules of engagement. She has something, whatever that is, whether I agree with it or not. And that's different because she won't get lost in the man or the object of the other person in and of itself because she's walking on something greater anyway. And then everything is, if you want to say submissive to whatever that is. And if you don't have that and you can just make it up as you go along, it's just dangerous, man. But I said all that to say, yeah.
Can you become comfortable in a relationship though? Would that be the same thing as complacency?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So complacency is comfortable on steroids though.
Yeah. 100%. Remember how y'all was talking about passion and all that stuff? How people don't have passion? That's because people become complacent with doing the same thing over and over again. And I hold men 110% accountable for that.
That's right.
I found myself becoming complacent. I said, oh no, I got to step it up. I gotta step it up. If I because if you become complacent, your woman by nature gonna become complacent, or she's going to upgrade you, one or the other. You did what I'm saying. And if you are constantly on your grind and on your purpose and doing what you're supposed to do, making sure you look good and everything like that, she's going to do that out of fear of being replaced. You dig what I'm saying? Or that's just how I go. What up, Uncle Stu?
What's going on? Look, I got
Uncle Stu. What's up, man?
What's going on? I got jokes.
Let's hear it.
Miss Ebony, I'm coming after you now. My sister Keeper's already coming on my show since he done got Tack Williams and the high value nurse. Nah, man, you cold, man. Bro. You cold.
Listen, man. I didn't ask. They just came. Okay.
See. But no, I'm gonna just address this one, and then I'm gonna get off here. I'm not gonna stay long. Both sides are culpable. It is not just the man. Why? Because the whole family as a unit must have a vision. What do I mean? Because the reality is when you have a vision, and if you have a long-term vision, and based on where you are within your marriage, everyone needs to have the long-term goal. You'll never get complacent when you're going after the long-term goals. And you have to recognize that as things change, the goals can change, but the vision must stay the same. So what do I mean? Let's say if you're in your 20s and your vision is to get a house, you're working towards that house. Once you meet that goal, then you achieve another goal. You keep going, goal after goal after goal after goal. A lot of people fall complacent because they have no vision. They have no drive. They have nothing that they have actually put on the table. A man can have a high vision, but if you have not purposed your woman in that vision, guess what? It still folds. A woman can have a vision. And if a man gets complacent going after the vision, then guess what? The family folds. So what I find is that as it is written, at least in one of the books, people perish for lack of knowledge, but they also die for lack of vision. Therefore, they're walking blindly. So when it's time to communicate, if you're going to have the intentions of marriage, it's not about the day of marriage. It's about the meaning and the purpose. Do I have purpose? And then do I see, now I'm going to speak as a man, do I see that this woman has a purpose in my life? And a lot of times we don't understand the purpose of each other, and therefore without purpose becomes meaning. When we get complacent, it's because I lost value in the very one I said I valued, whether that's the man or the woman. Because if she looks at you and all of a sudden she does not see her value, your value as a man, then she loses any credibility in you, no matter what your vision is. So let's take an example. If I say, baby, I'm going to start this business, and she loved the vision. She loved the fact I want to start a business, but I never start the business. I'm going to start losing what? Credibility. And therefore, I'm going to start losing my value. Therefore, talk becomes cheap. So I think that a lot of us get complacent because we are people without action. We are people who do not know how to communicate. And because we don't know how to communicate, we do not have actionable plans to get that done. I think too many times on these platforms, we tend to try to put everything on the man. I understand the philosophy of it, but God didn't just create the man. He created man and woman. And why? Because he created union. He created us to have purpose. He created us to have a vision.